Also, real quick, I am working YouTube full time, so if you scroll down and you see a join button by the subscribe button, if you check the description box or the comment section down below, you can also see links to my Patreon. My YouTube membership is $1. My Patreon is $1. So if you can help support the channel, that'd be appreciated. So I haven't read the comics, so there's that. I've watched the entire season. I've reviewed the episodes individually, episodes 1 through 4, but I kind of fell off, if I'm being honest with you. Life gets busy when you're trying to conquer the world, as I am, especially when you're desperately trying to find your wife that should preferably be South Korean or Chinese or Japanese. Polyamorous is something that intrigues me. Anywho, so we left off on episode 4. Episode 5 was quite wonderful. Titan, concrete black man, as played by Mahershala Ali, also a black man. He opens this episode, and ball-tickling violence aside, I love that Titan, much like this episode, he's very familiar, he's very relatable, he's very sympathetic. Machine Head was cool. He apparently has like a supercomputer for a skull or some shit. Titan and Invincible's interactions are pretty cool. It's nice to see Mark begin to realize not to judge a book by its cover. Omni Man watching in the distance as Mark and gang get pummeled by Battle Beast. That was awesome and so unexpected. It also cracks me up that this entire show could be relegated to Mark getting his ass tapped on a regular fucking basis. What was it, Black Samson and Monster Girl? Listen to me. Battle Beast was beating them and beating Mark. He was beating them so badly that honestly, Battle Beast kind of earned my respect. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that the Viltrumite blood was stolen by Donald and Cecil. And wait, what the fuck happened? I almost forgot what the fuck happened with that blood. I feel like something substantially bigger is going to happen with that stolen blood. And also, am I the only one that loved Donald and his quirkiness? Episode 6 was good. It was a bit filler-ish. I mean, it was good, but it was definitely one of the weakest episodes. Debbie Grayson sort of inching closer and closer to the truth behind the murders of the Guardians is very suspenseful, and it's amazing how much I've grown to care for Debbie. Non-bullshit approach to life, and especially to Nolan, and she's just so fearless. You feel so worried for her, in my opinion, as she gets closer and closer to the truth. Was it William Clockwell? Yeah, I love William. I think he's hilarious. I feel like his presence is always very genuine, and his presence just in general is just a much needed comic relief and a warm embrace inside this show, which can often be amazingly disturbing and bleak. Amber, I mean, look, Amber, she was interesting at first, but now she's like a annoying Mary Jane Watson that has the most eye-roll inducing complaints ever. Her complaining about how Mark wasn't there, despite the fact that there's like this Rihanna man or these Rihanna men running around wreaking havoc, and she's complaining that her man left for a little bit. Like what? And then Mark even gave a pretty sound reason for leaving. It's just like, Amber, you're complaining about that? Literally, most of Amber's existence is just, could just fit right here. This little square of complaints. It's almost like she exists just to complain about Mark. Adam Eve, she's kind of just meh as well. I mean, outside of like building some wild shit in the middle of the wilderness or in the middle of a forest, Adam Eve, she's just not really that interesting to me. I do think that Adam Eve and Mark should date each other, because Mark dating Amber is like Superman dating Lois Lane, which on a technical level doesn't really make any sense. Superman should be dating someone like equivalent to Wonder Woman, you know what I'm saying? Like vice versa here. Mark should be dating someone that's not going to have their head squeezed like a grape anytime soon. So hopefully Adam Eve has more to do next season. I mean, she was just kind of in the periphery for me. So yeah, episodes 5 and 6 are easily the weakest episodes, and probably just the weakest points of this entire narrative so far for this season. Thankfully, all that changes when episode 7 just comes stomping through with its sexy ass, as if the show just awoke from a short, abrupt nap or something like that. Debbie finally telling Omni Man, like, listen, I think you killed the Guardians, my nigga. The fact that finally happens, like, there's something so heart race inducing about that, truly. Like when Omni Man's like, alright, and then he fucking just flies through the house, I was like, oh shit. I was so freaked out by, you know those soldiers that work for Cecil that can like turn invisible, they're like ghosts, right? When we were inside of Omni Man's house, and Omni Man, he sees those invisible soldiers, and then he just starts tearing them apart. He's sticking a gun through one guy's skull. He like fucking dismembers the top half of somebody's torso and just sends it flying, and we're seeing guts spewing and shit. Oh my! Or when Omni Man, when he grabs Donald by his spine and just like crushes it, you know what I'm saying? Or even Omni Man when he creepily interrogates William when he's inside of his car. It's incredible how eerie and evil, Superman-ish Omni Man is. He's just so fucking violent. I mean, he's just so intimidating. J.K. Simmons is a revelation with his performance as Omni Man. Was it Cecil Stedman? Yeah, Cecil is one of my favorite characters. Like when he's on the battlefield with Omni Man and he's like teleporting away from him, and like he almost got caught. He almost got caught. Like a piece of his tie got caught in Omni Man's grasp. You know, I love Cecil. He's just so badass. He's not even afraid. He literally is not even afraid of Omni Man. It's insane. Like Cecil, he's exercising detective demons down to hell. He had that $400 billion satellite, was shot that blast at Omni Man, which I was like, I love the fact that he's played by Walter Goggins. Cecil, he almost reminds me of Keanu Reeves, Constantine a bit, you know. He just has that kind of vibe to him, which I just love. The last 5 minutes of this episode is a showstopper. Okay, just bonkers entertainment. I was hollering when the Immortal almost gouged out the eyes of Omni Man, only to be ripped apart by Omni Man. And finally, the finale. You know that we, the viewer, the audience, that we're in for something special when the beginning of the finale starts with raining blood and raining guts and intestines onto a field. I've long suspected that Omni Man was evil and that he was on some kind of, evil Vegeta Saiyan mission, and I was totally right. Watching Mark realize that his father is evil, he literally just watched him kill one of the Guardians. Omni Man causing natural disasters by just like flinging Mark's body around, or just like punching Mark's body across cityscapes, into mountains. Oh my god, the train sequence. Watching Omni Man just whipping Mark's ass across the planet, essentially, was hard to watch. The subway train sequence is so blood and gore infested that honestly, I think my consciousness just short-circuited for a few moments. Omni Man beating his son to a bloody pulp. Pieces of teeth are slapping against rocks. There was even a time where Omni Man slammed Mark down so hard that he fucking bounced off the ground. Okay, his face is just a mangled mess. His body is just all fucked. He's essentially just like in a puddle of his own blood. That shit was tough to watch, fam. Holy shit! This episode just went balls out. Okay, if you thought the action in Man of Steel was some craziness, watching all those civilians, surely dying, in Man of Steel when Zod and Superman are just boomeranging each other around the cityscape. It's just like, oh my god, the amount of innocent lives and civilians lost here is stupefying. It's eerie to think that, like on some Thanos Endgame type of shit, it's eerie to think that Omni Man is just out there somewhere past the solar system doing God knows what. This finale was banging. Like, this finale was not fucking around. But after Omni Man exits, the rest of the episode is pretty paint by numbers in comparisons to the rest of the episodes, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm kind of blown away that neither Debbie or Amber were ripped apart limb from limb. Steven Yeun and J.K. Simmons are the standout voice performers, in my opinion, but in all honesty, all of the performances were really airtight, really solid. The subversive, bloody, darkly hilarious storytelling here is just throughout the entire season. It's just totally off the charts. This is probably my favorite animated superhero series of all time, and thankfully I'm in luck because season 2 and 3 have already been greenlit. Thank you, Jesus. Episode 5 and 6, like, they're still good, but the show definitely hits a lull once we get to episode 5 and 6 for sure. But everything else is really great. The music slaps, and while the show could have done a better job of balancing all of these different characters in terms of relevancy, in terms of compellingness, despite that, you would be nuts to have watched this whole thing and not be at least a bit intrigued to know what happens next. In terms of what's coming next, I await with nervous excitement. Though shockingly dark with traumatizing violence, this show is a blast from start to finish. Personally, I am feeling a 9 out of 10 for season 1 to Invincible.